Well, hello, my dear viewer. Thanks for visiting Sales and Marketing for You. Remember that you is the most important word that you're ever going to use, simply because when you use the word you, you're talking to the other person. When you use the word you, you're thinking about the other person. When you start and end with the word you, then everything you do in between really is about the other person. You, in this case, is your customer. I'm going to be talking to you today about making cold calls. I consider myself a world expert on making cold calls, and I appreciate having had the opportunity to work for Fortune 500 companies, startups, door to door, slocking goods out of a bag on your shoulder, selling alarms, door-to-door residential, done door-to-door business. I've done door-to-door energy, like trying to get people to switch their energy companies. I've done door-to-door alarm sales. I've done all kinds of telemarketing. I've done all kinds of lead generation. In the corporate world, in lead generation, I worked for a company called Active State. They were a small startup company in Vancouver, but they were a Deloitte & Touche Fast 50 company. And with Active State, I worked in lead generation, and basically within a month I was promoted into an account manager role. I had the same experience working for Computer Associates. I started off in a lead generation role and ended up as a solution strategist or a quota carrying sales guy, making six figures, multiple six figures I should say. In any case, at the end of the day, I worked for another Deloitte & Touche Fast 50 company called Onvia in Seattle, and I worked with their lead generation team as well. I was a sales guy, but in each of these cases, and I've done work with IBM with lead generation and other companies, CompuWare, in terms of strategizing or consulting with them or giving them obviously some help in their work with lead generation. Lead generation essentially boils down to how do you open the door? How do you basically get to a point where you can get in, introduce yourself, right? And then go all the way from introducing yourself to the squeeze, the pitch, the script. What I'm going to be talking about today are these two pieces in between. PHP, okay? PHP is a programming language. You ask permission, and then you tell them what you're talking about, and then you ask permission to elaborate. So what you don't want to do is, you don't want to be the guy who calls up and says, "Hello, this is the guy or the gal. This is Shelley calling from CompuWare. The reason of my call today is I want to talk about our project services automation software." And then they have these scripted questions, like something like, "Well, CompuWare doesn't do this, thankfully. Now that I've been there, they're not doing things the way that they used to. There's no question about that." But you have a scripted question, and basically the customer understands, even if he hasn't been through it before. A kid could understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to just get him involved in a conversation. The problem is this: you need to ask their permission right off the bat. "This is Shelley from CompuWare. Did I catch you at a good time for a minute?" Now, if you're calling from a Fortune 500 organization and you're calling a business in your industry, there's a good chance that person's going to know who you are. And he'll be like, say one of two things. When you say, "Is it a good time to chat?" Or one of three things, perhaps. He'll say either "I'm busy," and it's not a good time, or "I'm not interested," or "get lost," or "don't call me again," or he'll get, all the negative stuff that we're so scared about. And hopefully in one of these talks, I might talk about how there is no such thing as rejection. Obviously, at the end of the day, if you meet a rude knucklehead and he has it in him to make you feel like crap and really tear into you, you, on the other hand, have to be a professional. You're not allowed to swear at people and all this kind of stuff, are you? You're not if you're at work somewhere. I am, because I'm an independent consultant. I can say what I like to who I like and how I like, as long as I'm not breaking the law, right? As long as I'm not harassing a person or threatening a person or something like that. Anyhow, when you say, "This is Shelley from CompuWare, did I catch you at a good time to chat for a minute?" Or, "Do you mind if I call you John?" you know, or something, something, something. You give them a chance to say something. Remember, folks, that the person who's talking is not the person who's in control of the conversation. The person who's listening and therefore asking questions, that's the person who's in control of the conversation. So when Shelley says, did I catch you at a good time to chat for a minute? So she introed herself by saying, this is Shelley. Intro just means your name and your company. That's it. Intro doesn't go into the purpose. People are just too easy to show up and throw up. You know, call up and throw up. Blah, 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 blah. And if you say enough words at a fastest clip, and they're the right words or something, it's nothing like that. It's just having a normal conversation with people. Did I catch you at a good time? Okay, is permission number one. All right? It's obviously number two in the whole supposed hierarchy of things to do, you know. But if you have any brains, you're going to do something like this anyway. This is Shelley from CompuWare. Did I catch you at a good time to chat for a minute? The guy's going to say, what is this about, or who's CompuWare? That's all he's going to say. Who's CompuWare? What is this about? If you're calling from a small company, remember, any disadvantage can be an advantage as well, folks. So don't think, oh, I'm calling from a small company and, like no one's heard of me. Trust me, it's tougher calling from a big company because everyone's heard of you and mostly they've heard bad things. If they're not already using you, they've already made the decision not to use you and they've heard bad things or whatever. Everyone knows, like, for example, everyone knows that rich people are all bad people, right? Supposedly. Rich people got rich by stealing off others. No one looks at the fact that Mark Zuckerberg works 16 hours a day. Bill Gates didn't take a single Christmas off in the 80s apart from one. Stuff like that, right? But same thing with companies. Big companies are oftentimes looked down on. Like, why are they that big? You know, it's like this and that and whatever. So I used to call from Oracle or let's say Computer Associates. I used to go on, I remember going on a sales call with Computer Associates, and it was in Calgary. I was based in Calgary at the time, and we went to IBM. And they were already a customer of ours. And most of the IBM team that we worked with, they loved us and they really respected us. And I went into this meeting, and this one guy was like, Computer Associates, and he starts rolling his eyes. And afterwards, the team leader or whoever was our point guy there, he basically said, you know, I'm going to make sure that guy gets talked to because that's really unprofessional and blah, blah, blah. I said, don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. Computer Associates, obviously, you know, they've got their reputation and they've got to deal with that. And, you know, it's all peaches here. Don't worry about it. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you. As long as you're happy with our software and our service, that's all we are worried about. Whether it's Computer Associates, whether it's Oracle, folks, no matter what it is, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is provide a service, keep your customer happy. I just tweeted the other day and someone liked it, that marketing is keeping your customer curious and sales is keeping your customer happy. Okay, permission, and then you go to the hook. So, did I catch you at a good time to chat for a minute? And the guy might just say straight ahead, yeah, sure, what's up? You know, if he's a guy like me, he'll say, sure, what's up? Why? Because he's just interested. Maybe you'll learn something from conversation. You'll at least hear about the latest and greatest. You'll hear about what a multi-million-dollar company potentially is doing in terms of marketing. Like they're paying some guy to talk to you about let's see what. You ask permission, and when you get permission, you basically go into the hook. The hook is essentially your 30-second elevator speech. You're like, well, sir, our project service automation software, as you know, allows you, PSA software in general allows you to automate how you manage resources and allocate the right resources to the right projects. What we provide is we provide additional yada, 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 security or coverage or visibility or transparency or some efficiencies or something or something or something. And then once again, you have to, once you've given him the hook, right? You know, and the hook shouldn't be something like, oh, well, I'm going to show you, like in marketing emails, see how you can save 30% or up to 30%. I used to write something like this, up to and over 30%, which basically is any number from 0 to like infinity. Anyhow, so you go into the hook, okay? 30-second pitch. We're going to give you yada, 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 yada. Do you mind if I take a few minutes to tell you about this? That's where you're asking for permission number 2. Then you go into the pitch. So, guys, that's it. That's my whole speech there. If you got that, that's great. PHP. Everyone intros and everyone pitches. But do you do the permission number 1? Do you ask for permission, number one? Do you give them the little hook and then ask them if it's okay for you to elaborate? That's all you need to do. So at the end of the day, sales and marketing is about numbers. I'm looking at an article on my website, and basically everyone thinks that, if you've got a Rolodex and you've got enough numbers and you just call, that's such a stupid approach. Why would you okay, so for instance, if you're selling software for basically help desk software, why are you going to call companies that are less than 100 people? You're wasting your time. They don't have a help desk, right? A 50-person company doesn't have a help desk. It might have one guy who walks around and he is the help desk and he doesn't need any damn software because he likes getting the exercise. He likes walking around. There's different things that are going on in your mind vis-a-vis your customer's mind, folks. So please, at the end of the day, keep this in mind. I'm very happy that I've kept this recording nice and short. I hope you don't mind my homemade approach because after all, I do work from home and I don't have any qualms about working from home. In fact, you know what? I'm going to light up a cigar just to celebrate what a great little shindizzle this was. And I'm going to tell you about what a great lead generation guy I am so that you might be my dear customer. I just dropped my smokes. It's all your fault. I want you to come back and let me help you. Please let me help you. Shall I tell you something? I'll tell you a secret, folks. I actually don't charge anything. My customers pay me. I don't charge though. I tell my customers that my job is to bring you more customers. It's not about me writing a nice ad for you or coming up with this great guerrilla marketing strategy. Like there's this fellow that I'm working with right now. He does marble tops, granite. He's probably one of the best in Calgary where I am at right now. And I came up with this concept of a postcard, very high-end postcard, just like his very high-end postcard, just like his work. And basically, high-end postcard, and then you have "Get Stoned" written on the postcard. And it's like green marble, and it says "Get Stoned." And you take like 100 of these or 1,000 of these so that we can track the results. And I'm looking for 10 to 15 callbacks per 100 instead of like 1 or 2 or 3 when you hand out flyers per 100. And we'll see how that goes. But that's not my job. I'm not going to charge him for that. What I've told him is that when we bring you new customers, if I bring you 15 customers in the first month, whatever new business I bring to you while I'm there, you pay me a third of that. So if I bring you 15 more customers in the first month and you get that many deals out of it, you might be working on that stuff for 6 months, but you owe me a third, ideally, because it's commission, but it's fair too. If you understand, if I brought this to the table, if I bought you 100 grand of business and you're going to pay me 30 grand, of course it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of business too, right? Anyhow. So breaking into companies, lead generation is where it's at. It's called opening doors, right? So you open a door and then you send a sales guy inside and you say to the sales guy, well, there's an interested prospect in there and he fits the criteria. And in future videos, I'll be talking about something called VBANT, vision, budget, authority, need, and time frame. So I'm the kind of guy who basically can get into any company. This is my belief. In an enterprise sales mode. Like I remember this company called Kaiser Permanente in California, one of the largest health suppliers out there, or health companies, or something like that. Health care providers, I guess you could call it. It's like kp.org or something like that. Huge monster. They got like 100,000 people. So when you're working for like an Oracle or Computer Associates, your database is already full of names because people have been calling them left, right, and center for years. I would just dive bomb into that thing. I'd be calling people without titles, people on the help desk, support line, sales line, anybody, president, secretary, anybody can give you some useful information. And if you make enough calls like that and you're nice enough, see, that's this right here. This is the technical aspects of the selling. But this is not the most important aspect. You might be thinking, wow, that's great. PHP, ask for permission and then hook the guy and then ask for permission to continue, right? It's so simple. However, if you're a jerk or if you don't care about your customer, if you don't have a nice personality, if you don't want to stop and let him talk and try and get him doing more of the talking and things like that, and you're going to miss out. In fact, it's not the hard skills, it's the soft skills. So in any case, I hope I've intrigued you. I hope you're interested in coming back. What I want and what I get out of all of this is you watching this this video, perhaps leaving a comment if you'd be so kind, signing up for my website, blog, easy. It's a news blog. It's basically a blog that I also send you a copy of. Don't ask me why. I just do it. It's a newsletter / blog. I just needed a place to put my thoughts and get it out to people from time to time. And, you know, the more traffic I generate on my website, I've got ads on there, the better it ranks, and the more money I make that way too. So, I mean, I'm not worried about getting anything from you. If you've got any questions, I'd love to answer them. I'll send you a precise, short, simple statement telling you exactly what you need to know. And you can go and basically be off to the races. So, see you for now. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you're not saying you more than I, then you'll be going out of business pretty soon. Talk to you soon.